been here. And tonight we're going to believe that, you know what, because the Bible in the New Testament, the anointing in the New Testament, Galatians 2:20 says, I've been crucified with Christ. I no longer live, but Christ. You know what the word Christ means? It means the anointed one. The anointed one lives inside of me. You see, in the Old Testament, the anointing was external, but in the New Testament, the anointed one dwells internally inside of us. We carry His anointing. We carry His power. And what we're believing for tonight is that people would leave this place and leave an oily trace and leave oily footprints in their workplace and in their offices and in their football fields and around their friends and in the shopping malls and around our families, that people would say, hey, there's something different about that person. Hey, there's something on that person. There's something that I like about that person. Why? Because they're a man of God. There goes a woman of God. There's something on their lives of the anointing. And you see, I remember when I first heard about this message, when it was about 10 years ago. I was in this church. We're in the Hub Auditorium over there. And there was a man and he was preaching about the anointing. And I'd never heard about the anointing. I'd never been anointed before. But I got so stirred up. I said, I want to be anointed. And that night, as soon as the meeting finished, I got out of there as quick as I can. And I went home and I thought, I'm just going to anoint myself. Because no one else was anointing anyone at that time. And I thought, I'll anoint myself. And so I went home and I started looking for oils in the cupboards and anything I could find. And then there was a knock at the door. And I went downstairs and went to the stairs of my house. And it was one of the guys from my Connect group. And he just goes, hey, what are you doing right now? And I said, what do you mean? He said, I saw you tonight. And he said, straight after the meeting finished, I could see there was a look in your eye like you were about to do something. What are you up to? I said, I'm about to pour oil all over myself. And he just looked at me and he said, can I be in it as well? And I said, let's anoint ourselves. So you know what? We went up, we started looking for oil anywhere we could find in a house. It's amazing when you're looking for oil, it's hard to find. And so I was looking around the house. I tell you what, we found some baby oil. We found some cooking oil. We got sunshine oil. We got olive oil. But it wasn't enough. I went down to the garage and found half a litre of GTX oil. So I tell you something, we were serious. We got all of that oil. We poured it into a big bucket. We took that bucket upstairs into my bedroom. We put towels and blankets all over the bedroom floor. And I tell you what, we put some worship music on. We opened up to Psalm 133. And we started to read that psalm where Moses anointed Aaron and the oil just dripped down their beards and dripped down their garments and dripped off their sandals. And we said, God, we want to be anointed men of God. We said, God, we want to be set apart for you. God, we want to live for you. We want to live this life. We want your seal of ownership and your hand on our lives for the rest of our days. And then we just picked up that bucket and we just drenched ourselves in oil. And I tell you what, it took about 2.5 weeks to get that sucker off too, I tell you. But I want to tell you something. I look back and I'll never forget that moment, because that was a moment where God marked my life. And as much as it was a physical action, there was something spiritual that happened to me that day where I just knew God's hand came on my life like it hadn't been before. And I just felt like I was ruined for anything else but to serve Him. The power of the anointing is a powerful thing. It's not just something in the natural, it's supernatural. In fact, in the Old Testament, they used